there's another couple of people up here, but basically everybody else who's arrived so far seems to be in the restaurant. So, I'm out here pretty much alone, which is quite wonderful. It's cold, breezy, but as you can see, beautifully sunny. Perfect weather, really, for sightseeing. Tea time. I imagine how much fun I would have had in here as a child. It's actually not much bigger than my flat in London. The bluebells are fragrant. I didn't realize that's what the smell is until I picked one. I tried to grow some of these round purple balls once, but they didn't work. They didn't appear. The room on the second floor in Canadian and I think first floor in British. Over on the far side, I'm zooming in on it now, the one window at the very end, the curtains opened on either side, is a room commemorating General James Wolfe, who lived from 1727 to 1759. He was the victor of Quebec, where he was mortally wounded as he defeated the French on the 13th of September 1759, according to the guidebook at Squerryes. Wolfe was brought up at Spears, now called Quebec House, in Westerham, and he was a childhood friend of General George Ward, the youngest son of John Ward, who bought Squerryes. In the Wolfe room, there's a copy of the famous painting of the Death of Wolfe by Benjamin West. It's smaller than the originals. He painted 4. I think the first one is in the National Gallery of Art in Ottawa, but I'm not sure. I've seen one there. I've seen one at the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto and one in the library at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, and I believe there's one at Buckingham Palace, but when I was there last year, the painting wasn't there. I don't know where it was. I didn't ask because the guards there seemed a little unclear about things, shall we say. There's also a copy of this painting of Wolfe at 14 after he first joined the army. His papers are supposed to be on show in the room, but they weren't. And when I mentioned to a guard that the first commission, which he received here at Squerryes, in a spot marked by the cenotaph, when I mentioned to the guard, the tour guide, that these were not in the room, she hastened to take a look and said, well, they should be. And so now I'm wondering if they've actually disappeared, or if she said somebody had taken them away, but she certainly didn't know that when I asked her where they were. Squerryes Court in Westerham, Kent, has been a family home since 1731, inhabited by the Ward family. It was built in 1681 well, it was built from 1681 to 86, and it and the landscape are largely unchanged except for the main approach, according to the leaflet. This is the view from the main front door of Squerryes. It's a beautiful place, but as you can see, the cars block the view. But you can see the horses way in the distance. There are swans on the pond and other kinds of waterfowl. Up at the top, the green hill, there's a gazebo where one of the wards used to watch the horses. The man in the gatehouse kiosk at Squerryes has showed me a footpath route out. So I'm going to make an attempt to go via the footpath, which might mean that I forego going to the Wolfe pub, but perhaps I can come back another time and go to the Wolfe pub. You can see that there's no real footpath here, and this is what often confuses me when I'm walking in the English countryside, is that there'll be a sign saying footpath, but then you can't really see where it is. So you kind of wander aimlessly, hoping for the best. And he told me just take a diagonal across the field and I'll see another gate, which I might have to climb over. So we'll see. Very long grass and a lot of nettles around here, stinging nettles. So, not sure if I should have gone directly. I'm going to keep walking along here a little way. Hope for the best. A man mowing his lawn that I shouted to said if I carry on walking this way I will come to a gate. So all is not lost. I can see a car up here actually. Aha, I spot the gate. And the gate. It was locked, but it wasn't too bad. It's quite easy to climb. I was just worried that the thing was going to collapse. Like the water's quite low here. Maybe this is the path to Westerham. Nobody around to ask. Those people ahead came along and I was able to ask them, and they know the paths. So they told me how to get there. And they said they're going the same way, so I can follow them. Oldie worldy. Fantastic. It's exactly where I started from. The green, where I got the bus here. Amazing. There's a plaque to Wolfe in this church, St. Mary's of Westerham. It's above the door, but I didn't film it because it was so dark in there, and there were some people in there as well. I'm heading here. I've got time before the bus leaves. So although I was here the other day at Quebec House, I decided I would see if it's open again today and maybe just stop in and see if I can have a cup of tea there before getting the bus. is where Wolfe lived as a child. Oh, he died at 32. Got me LT bread, no idea what. Masses of people coming into Quebec House.
No, they never used to. They're nice, aren't they? Yeah, they have to.
Just entering Westerham Green. Churchill there. And Wolfe, a peak where the roads divide. This is the bus stop. As usual, hoping I have the right time.